welcome. Jamey Jasta, thank you very much for coming on our show, Undead from Antarctica.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you guys again.
Oh, hell yeah.
Likewise.
Sweet, man.
So what the hell are you doing right now?
But I'm riffing out in the man cave.
Sounding good. Yeah. I didn't know you played guitar. I thought you were a cool guy.
Dude, all I have is riffs. That's it. What else do we have in our lives right now except riffs and ice cream?
Yeah, and news. Oh, jeez. What a nightmare. All right, I'm gonna jump in and ask some questions here. What do you think?
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Go for it. 2020. What a kick in the nads. You know, I know that every asshole you talk to asks you this question right now, or they certainly ask me this question. What have you been doing during the pandemic? So I am going to ask that question, but specifically, I am curious, Jamey Jasta, how has this situation shaped how you're working? What are you focusing on? Are you still involved with your career in music? What's going on with you?
I am. I did a death metal record. I can't say for who yet, but I produced it. It came out sick. I wrote some of the songs and some of the lyrics on it too, which was really fun because I got to write about murdering people and dismembering them and stuff that I don't normally do, but I want to do currently in the quarantine. So that was a lot of fun. And then I actually started to learn some different skills like carpentry, woodworking, flooring, tiling, because you know, what else can I do really? I have an 8th grade education, and unfortunately right now I'm unable to do what I do best, which is yell into a stick.
I don't know. You had to get a job?
No. Luckily, I made good investments in the second 10 years of my career. So I had Tesla and Apple and things like that, which I sold off nicely for some profits. And I've been doing some swing trades, some stock market stuff just to, pay the bills and keep the lights on. But luckily the catalog, the merch, we launched a beer brand, which I'm doing a non-alcoholic beer, Breed Brew. We just did our first tasting last Sunday, and nobody got the COVID, knock on wood. Thank God.
It's a non-alcoholic beer?
We did one of each. They're both getting canned, and we're hoping that we can offer it at the GWAR bar if you'd be so kind once we get distribution, but we're looking at it.
Yeah, because I'm tired of drinking O'Doul's, so bring it on.
Yeah. You ever notice that only alcoholics drink non-alcoholic beer? It's weird.
Yeah,
it's the damnedest thing.
I had one, and I let Kirk from Crowbar try it, and I said, "What do you think? It's pretty good." And he goes, "Good for nothing."
That's very awesome. That's I launched a beer myself this morning. Actually, I launched it over the downtown expressway and hit a minivan. So
then I said, "Well, try an O'Doul's," and he said, "More like old fools."
Yeah, all that stuff is just crap. Crap. I don't know. I would drink it if it's a Hatebreed beer. I'll drink it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I tried the non-alcoholic version, and it's not an IPA. I know everybody was all freaked out saying it better not be an IPA. I have nothing against IPAs. When I did drink, I enjoyed one or two of them before, but it's more of a Helsa, almost like a Stella.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, light and refreshing.
Exactly.
Well, I think any beer that you can give to a band that won't make them suck is probably a good one. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Every band that drinks thinks they're way better when they're on stage.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a ginger beer too.
Cool.
See, I would think a Hatebreed beer would be heavy and headache-inducing. Like that's
like the music.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Just make you wake up and not know where you were the next day. What did I do?
Listen, man, I heard that single "When the Blade Drops." That is some good shit. It really is. Really,
Oh,
really
thank you. Thank you.
so hard.
It's
So
no-
hard.
It's no gore, but we try.
Look, man, I love it because it's hardcore, man. It is hardcore in its arrangement, in the style, but it's a more modern take. It's just heavier sounds, which I know. I mean, that's a Hatebreed thing, but just the way that song is put together, really smart stuff. I love the mosh part, the sort of slow down part at the end, like a minute and 30 in. It's so great, and it's really groovy. I love it. But I mean, I'm wondering, like, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a song about a guillotine dropping. Is that it?
Yes. When the blade drops, your world is split in two. With every crown comes the guillotine. And I did look up how to pronounce guillotine versus guillotine because I really wanted to say guillotine in the song, but I knew the pronunciation police were going to come after me.
Oh yeah, you don't want those guys after you.
We don't. And you know what we said? We're like, listen, this is going to be meat and potatoes, fast, hardcore with the beatdown part at the end. Remember when Papa John's guy came out and he said he ate like 40 pizzas in 30 days or whatever? So I said, we're going to write 40 breakdowns in 30 days. And that's what I did. I said, let's fucking do this.
Ah, I love it. It's great. Did you write that song? Did you write that music?
Yes, I think I did write that one. Yeah. Wayne wrote a bunch on this one. Chris wrote a bunch. I wrote a bunch. Yeah, it's got a good, I think with all three of us contributing on this one, it's got a nice dynamic. We're hoping it's going to come out like in November, December. We'll see. We're going to have to make a decision soon. And we're going to have to make an announcement soon. I don't know when people are going to see this, but with no touring for the unforeseeable future, we're like, we can't delay any longer. We just want to get the record out, and we miss playing. Obviously, it's the next best thing is like to give people new tunes to jam to, and hopefully they'll still remember them and want to hear them live when we do start to tour again.
I can't wait to hear that song live. It's great. It's great. Is there a deeper meaning there? Besides, I mean, that's very GWAR, right? A guillotine dropping, but like, what happens when the blade drops?
Yeah, it's basically, I guess the underlying message is if you're going to go for something in life, if you're going to try to be the best at what you do, you have to take the consequences that come with it. And unfortunately, some people view that now, like anybody trying to be successful in any arena, some people look at that as like a threat to them, and they want to see people who have those ambitions, have their failings along the way, and people take enjoyment in seeing people fail and seeing people get their careers ruined or their lives ruined. And so it's kind of like social commentary with a little bit of metaphorical meaning underneath it. And so, yeah, if you're gonna, there is this, I guess, I don't want to say, I don't like the term cancel culture, but there's this culture of wanting to tear people down. And that's kind of what the song talks about.
Oh yeah, well, there absolutely is that. Yes, you can't. Yes, there's a lot of punitive people in the world right now.
Exactly, and unfortunately, with the social media and things like that, people have been given a voice that don't always deserve to have a voice or didn't do any work to have a voice.
Oh yeah.
But true. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember, in the 90s and in the mid 90s and the late 80s and stuff. I mean, I was very young going to shows in the early 90s, but I remembered it being very political, and certain venues didn't want to book certain bands, and certain people didn't like certain scenes, and the divisiveness just kind of ruins it for everybody, especially when you got a band that has a good trajectory or someone who's talented, who has a good trajectory. And as soon as they start to do something creative or do something different, everybody's there to just instantly shit on it. And I guess that's my take on the song is like, you got to make a choice. Do you want to be the person who's shooting for it, or do you want to be the person who's shitting on the person shooting for it? I want to be the person who's still shooting for it.
I understand, but me, I like shitting on things. I'm a shitter, What
you do it well. You do it.
Yeah,
well.
I do. And to me, that song is about cutting off heads. That's what it's about. It's about a guillotine dropping. I love it. I love everything about it. But
thank you so much. High praise coming from you.
Hey man, this year has sucked though for humanity. I mean, what do you think? I know that recently Riley Gale passed, the fellow that you've done some work with. He kind of reminded me of you in some ways. Certainly, the way that band, even the band reminded me of Hatebreed. The way they put the songs together, hard, very hard music, but with a sort of hook-oriented approach, and the vocal style was similar. So, do you have any thoughts on Riley's passing there?
Yeah, it's just so sad. I'm still in shock. I just was actually looking through my phone and found a meme that he had sent me, the last meme that he sent me while they were in Malaysia. And I didn't even realize that it was like 6 months ago, or maybe even longer, like 7 months ago. And I thought, and it was right before everything really sort of popped off. And even then I was like, you're crazy for going to Malaysia or going to Southeast Asia while all this stuff was happening. And
oh, wow. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, they were on tour then. I want to say it was back in February, or maybe January, if I could be wrong. But so I still haven't found out what happened to him, and you know, I'm just at a loss. I think it's more painful when someone is just so young and they have their entire life ahead of them, and talk about a trajectory. I mean, the band is just on this upward climb and we took them to Europe a couple years back, and they were ripping it, and then they were getting on all the big festivals and all the big tours, and I did a Motorhead cover with them at the Loudwire Awards, and they were the band everybody was talking about. So it's terrible, and I really feel for the guys, and and the Power Trip guys and their families, and I really hope that we do find some sort of silver lining in this year. But the last couple of days, it hasn't felt like there was gonna be any, and I'm never the one to like totally despair, but this week especially, I've been just like trying to keep my mind out of what I call the dark river. It's always flowing and it's always there. And the destructive things that are in it are easily attainable, especially when you're in a band. And I just trying to keep my head clear, trying to like go out, walk my dogs, hang with my daughter, hang with my mom, my dad, my dad normally lives in Ireland, so I don't get to see him as much. And so he's here because they can't obviously go back to Ireland because of the travel ban and whatnot. So that's nice. That's one silver lining, is being like close with my family. And I wasn't super tight with Riley, but I was one of those people that always looked forward to seeing him and hearing from him. And I loved the band, and I thought, what a sick record this is going to be. I don't know if it was recorded and if we're still going to get to hear it. I hope we do. But everybody was waiting on this new Power Trip and for tours to come back so we could tour with Power Trip. And it's just terrible.
Yeah, it sucks. Totally sucks. That's this year. But, you know, I mean, my silver lining for this year is just that I don't have to really, you know, be around the guys that I play music with.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. We're actually even down the hall from each other.
Yeah.
But you know, it's quarantine, so we can't. We can't. Even though we only see each other, we can't see each other.
Yeah, we've got a line drawn of chalk like in the old sitcoms. You know, he doesn't come over this side, I don't go over that side. Yeah. You know, and speaking, I mean, of The Departed, I mean, let's keep things light. Why not? Hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was Dave Brocky, who was the human slave of Odorous Urungus. It was his birthday recently, where he's still alive. And, you know, the human thrall of Odorous Urungus. I know that you've been on tour with GWAR many times. What do you remember about Dave Brocky? What's your best memory, or does anything stand out from your experiences with GWAR, hanging around with Brocky?
Oh yeah, I mean, just always brightening up the room, brightening up the vibe. Even when the vibe wasn't a good vibe, he had a way of like putting a spin on the vibe with that just cutting, sharp humor. Like, especially, I mean, he's probably one of the only people I've seen punch somebody in the face and then the party got even better.
Oh yeah.
The And the band was like off the dates. I mean, we were raging. I think it was in Grand Rapids. I probably shouldn't say what was happening on the bus at the time. It was on our bus.
Right.
And it might have actually even been Halloween. And then, on Halloween, shit gets crazy. People are dressed up as, it really harkens back to better days, when you could go to a show and people were dressed crazy and getting loose and getting wild and having a good time. And maybe somebody would get punched in the face, and there was no lawsuits. There was nobody getting canceled on social media. No one was trying to get sponsors to drop them. And it was like, hey, you know what? This guy said some fucked up shit. Dave had to blast him in the face. We were all like, yeah. We're like, yeah. It was, and now it would be like, no, we have to get the police here. You have to file a suit. It would be a whole fucking debacle. But there was other times too where I did things that I brought, there's things that we can't say, that we just had a great time together. And he's another one. I go back and I still have the phone and I still have the text and talking shit about the Redskins, and I get bummed out and because I'm a Giants guy. And
oh no.
And then
that was a bitter rivalry.
And then I think about like going on Dan Patrick's show and not being able to get a word in edgewise or even like plug what I was there to plug or whatever, because Dave was just going a mile a minute.
Yeah, he talked a lot.
Yeah, and
he
then
had a lot to say.
or him, like, I don't know what happened with him and Lloyd Kaufman, but do you remember when when Lloyd left, when I went to the live stream? Oh, there's so much. I don't know how much we can say on the show, but
I can say whatever we want.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know what I've always wanted to ask Lloyd about that. Like, was there beef, or was it a work, or was it a shoot that turned into a work? I don't know, but it was awesome.
This is great. I'm gonna have to Google who that is.
Lloyd Kaufman, he's the guy from
Trauma.
Trauma Films, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, man! I'll remember it as soon as we end this interview. But he told me about that. Once over some cocaine.
Yeah.
But there was a beef, and it's something very silly, if I can remember correctly. Like, somebody was supposed to do a movie and somebody didn't show up or wanted more money. It's ridiculous, but I respected that Brocky held a grudge.
Yes.
Because I think grudges are great things to hold on to. Memories, grudges.
Yeah. And I since it was his birthday, I remember we were at Cleveland House of Blues, and there was a bunch of girls backstage. I don't know if that can happen still anymore, but it probably can't with all the shit that's going on. But everybody was of age, everybody was consensual, and everybody knew it was Dave Brocky's birthday. And these girls said, we should bring him a cake, and we were like, okay, great. And she's like, then they said we should bring him a cake naked, and we were like, okay, great. And then
double great.
And then the girls were like, well, who doesn't like boobs and birthday cake? And we were like, hey, you got a point there. I mean, it's two great things together, and then they were like, well, Dave's in the shower, and they were like, even perfect, let's go. So then we tried to go in there with the cake and the two girls, and Dave was like, no, I'm showering. We were like, what the fuck? And he wasn't having it. He was not
all shy. Yeah. Yes. Very private person.
And every other time, maybe. But
everybody was like, brain exploded. Like, any other band dude was like, that's like my dream.
Right. No.
If you've ever smelled a GWAR member after a GWAR show, maybe you'd understand.
Yeah, I have, and I did think about that as we were walking towards the bathroom, but he seemed to be almost done with the shower, and I was just going to stand on the outside in the dressing room and have the girls go in and surprise him. But yeah, it also kind of made me think, like, you know what, maybe he was in a relationship at that time. I don't know. And maybe he's just being a good dude. And I was like, God, what a good guy.
You're wrong about that. I've seen him get a Blumpkin, for no reason.
always in multiple relationships.
Yeah.
But they don't always know about each other, which is, I mean, the way that's the classy way to do it. That's the way I do it.
There was a whole widow section at that funeral. Let me tell you.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Was the one from Aspen there, or there was one? It was like, I remember I got a message like in the middle of the night. It was like, Jasta, I'm in Aspen. I'm fucking skiing. I don't know. He's saying something, and I wish I saved the voicemail. And I think he was out there with a babe, like a ski. And I just picture
that is.
I just picture him like in the odorous get up, like on the skis, like just fucking killing it. I'm sorry, with his master odorous on the skis.
Right.
Good save. Well, you know, it's no secret that GWAR sometimes we make costumes because one time Bone Snapper was sick and we actually were able to make a Bone Snapper costume that you wore for a couple of days.
Yes, I think I was the only person under 6 feet, so I had that. I had that, and I like to say that I'm not short because I'm like 5'10" on a good day, 5'10" and a half if I'm lucky. But I still was able to fit in there, and I gotta say, it gave me such pleasure. I felt honored. I felt privileged. I got to not only rip off Hillary Clinton's tits, which can we even say that now? I don't know.
You might as well. I mean, as long as you weren't sexually gratified by it, I think.
Correct.
Okay.
No, I was sexually horrified by it.
There you go.
But it was, and then I got to aim the severed breasts so that it shot people in the front row. And then I got the pleasure of going outside after the show covered in the space jizz and the blood and everything without the costume on, and literally having not one person say, "Great job."
Yeah. It's
And
very gratifying. Very gratifying.
Wow, this is really all guts, no glory.
That's right. You're exactly right about that.
All guts, no glory.
The internet kind of ruined that, though. Now they all know it. Now they all know what I look like when I take my hat off.
Yeah. And Bone Snapper, didn't Bone Snapper even? I mean, he sang a song with Hatebreed, didn't he? Didn't he do something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I had to go to a funeral, and he came out on Warped Tour and repped hard for us. I really appreciated it. I think he even tried to kill Kevin Lyman, which I thought was funny. Or some of you guys did, I think. I think it was supposed to be Kevin Lyman was supposed to come up and announce that I wasn't going to be there, and then I think you guys were supposed to go up and kill him. But we got to get footage of that somehow.
I've seen something. I saw something on the internet there when I was looking at that. So you actually then worn a GWAR costume. That's interesting. That's very interesting. You've been Bone Snapper.
Yeah, I filled in for 2 shows, I say. That's my claim to fame. And I have an axe, which I have somewhere here on the Wall of Fame. Where is it? It's somewhere here. And then I have some merch from the Kingdom of Sorrow merch table that got covered in the blood when we had it too close to the stage. So I kept some of that because I thought that was amazing that we were close enough to get, have the whole merch table just, and I thought, I wonder how many bands learned that the hard way touring with GWAR throughout the years.
Boy, we get a Kingdom of Sorrow. What's
learned the hard way. Sounds like you learned to trust us. That was the first mistake.
Yeah.
You would think they would have learned how to aim after all these years, but no.
Yeah, we're still taking baths. So we keep mentioning this like a sort of sea change in what can be said and what can't be said. And it's interesting, Justin, because you're like an expert on rage, right? Or you would seem to be, though to me you've never seemed like an overly angry guy. But one thing about this particular historical moment is that there is a lot of anger going around. People are just palpably angry. They're pissed off more than I've ever seen them in history. So what do you think of the current wave of rage in popular culture, in mainstream culture? What do you make of this particular historical moment, I guess is what I'm asking.
I just think people have had enough, and they don't have the proper outlet to release it. I used to hear back in the day, like, oh, and when we would, like in the Reagan years or in the Bush years, like, oh, well, we'll get great music out of, we'll get the creatives will really rise up. But now we're at a point where the paper pushers have beaten the creatives down so bad, and literally the greed and the excessive ownership of other people's IP and other people's creativity has, I think, killed a lot of the music industry, and a lot of the great artists are completely just disenfranchised and marginalized, and and then you got the pandemic, which then adds to all these actors and people who are out of work, so then they're chiming in thinking that they're an activist, and then that drives people crazy because they're like, what the fuck, you made it, you got a silver spoon, a lot of you people are coming from old money, and we're out here fucking working classes out here getting shit on every fucking corner they go. And then labels aren't up in royalties, streaming services aren't paying more, there's no touring. And so so we can see why there's that rage, right? Because we're trying to just get by, we're trying to pay our bills and pay our mortgage. Imagine if you were someone owning a mom and pop coffee shop. Not only did they let all the big corporations move in down the road from you and offer the same product at a lower price, and they let all these fucking assholes that own these big corporations trade without having to pay taxes and do insider trading, and they all get fucking rich, while all the creatives and all the people that are really doing the work are getting shit on. And then they'll try to turn it on you. They try to gaslight you. They try to say, there's no way to have a living wage. Minimum wage has to. Oh yeah, all your holiday bonuses and all your shit can go through the roof every fucking year, but the guy making the donut gets the same fucking money he's made since 1970. Nah, we're not fucking playing that. And then if you try to stand up and be a force for the fucking worker, you're labeled as a fucking communist. It's like, no, we're not going for that either. We're getting fucking smart to your game. Everybody should have equity in these fucking companies. And we'll see what'll happen. What I think is gonna happen is one of these big artists is gonna make the move, and they're gonna go indie, and then the fucking cards are gonna fall. And it might have to be one of these big pop or one of these big rap artists to go indie first. They're realizing, like, and no offense to any label people watching or listening, but we can upload a fucking CD to Spotify too. It doesn't take
right,
a fucking army of people. Why do you have a fucking fountain at your office when the guy who's fucking making all this shit? Like, think about that. Remember MTV, right? The whole business model was, we'll make everybody else pay for the content we play all day, and then we'll say we made you rich and famous, but we kept all the ad money.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
It's like corporate gaslighting. We are on to your shit. We've given all you assholes enough money, and now it's time to fucking get our pound of flesh. So I don't blame. And people go, oh, you're justifying looting and rioting. No, I'm not. I never said that. I don't think people should be looting and rioting. I think people should be turning into the fucking lawyers and the paper pushers and taking on all these assholes and going, why do you make the lion's share for doing nothing? And then they'll go, don't say that as an artist, you'll be viewed as greedy. Okay, but you're not viewed as greedy if you're some fucking business owner who puts the little guy out of business.
Right.
Nope.
Yes.
Hey, have you ever heard the phrase, or has somebody ever said to you, yeah, the person over that makes the Spotify playlist, they're a good friend of mine. We can talk to them tomorrow. I think every label I've ever talked to has said that to me at some point in time.
Yeah.
Listen,
and
there's a lot of great people that work at Spotify who I'm sure have worked in the industry a long time that deserve their jobs, but they get to keep their jobs because creatives keep making the product that they live off of, that pays their salary. So at some point, and I know they're getting into the podcast business, more power to them. Maybe those people that come over from podcasting will find music, and maybe more bands will own their masters, and so they'll get the lion's share of the streaming. I'm actually very happy with the streaming money I get from both Jasta albums. You know why? I own the master. That's why I'm not.
Nice.
That's why I'm not stressed to go on the road. You know, and I can do podcasts, I can do voiceover work, and like I said earlier, I had the stocks. I got lucky on a couple stocks, but owning the master and seeing what you get when you own your master. And I'm sure people that are tuning into this probably don't want to hear music business talk, but it's something that these new kids got to fucking hear. When I was a kid and I signed these bad deals, there was this older artists sort of mentality. Like when you would go and talk to an older artist, they would be like, well, I had to learn the hard way. So do you. And that shit's got to stop.
Yeah.
Because you're just perpetuating people just losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that is rightfully theirs.
Yeah, it's like they're not investing in helping the artists create better music. They're just investing in trying to get a return. You know, it's like all of these great records that we had in like the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, we're still getting great records today, don't get me wrong, but you know, some of these guys, you know how to it takes a lot to figure out how to be in a band, but sometimes it takes a producer to tell that band how to make a great record or, you know, something like that. And without those kind of investments, you know, I think there's a little bit of lost potential there. But at the same time, you're right. Not everybody should have to learn the hard way, you know. But these kids ought to realize that, you know, some of us have to have jobs. Like, maybe they don't know that I work at the Burger King. There's a Burger King here in Antarctica at the McMurdo Air Force Base. And I've been part-time there for the last 11 years, you know.
Yeah, he's got a plaque and everything.
Yeah, I've turned down the managerial position so I can tour with GWAR.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. And listen, unfortunately, a lot of creatives, a lot of artists, whether you're a drummer or a singer or a solo artist or an acoustic, unfortunately, I think a lot of heads of labels, the big major labels especially, and a lot of the people working at some of the DSPs, unfortunately, the artist is just a guy making burgers, and you can get another one.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? But listen, just because you sell the most burgers doesn't mean that your shit is good.
That's right. That's right. There's plenty of people with lots of attention that just fucking suck. But you know, I mean, what a great answer. There's a lot more political economy in that answer than I expected, and entertainment business stuff. Nice. So
well, I know you guys are road dogs, and I see the work that goes into the show, and I think, why wouldn't someone want to share in the equity so that someone's show can not only be better, someone's living conditions when they're on the road can be better? Don't you think you'd get better product? Like when I go into a corporate fucking restaurant or some bullshit chain store and I see the person beaten down behind the counter who hates their life, and then I go on the road and I see that also on the road, it wasn't like that at one point. And I thought, that's why we went on the road. That's why we became creatives. So we wouldn't let that shit get to us and beat us down. We wouldn't let these assholes, as Lemmy would say, we wouldn't let these bastards fucking grind us down. We didn't want to be cogs in their machine, but we got sold out. The politicians sold us out. The bankers and the fucking car companies, they get a fucking bailout. But the music industry didn't get a bailout. They said, oh, you should have protected your IP like the video games. You know, and everybody's like, oh, fuck Lars. Well, Lars was right. We should have started our own Spotify. We should have started our own Apple Music. Lars was right. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow. And they go, oh, you're stuck in the past. You're just complaining. You're being greedy and this and that. And so, well, one day, if you ever invent something, and you've heard this from every inventor, right? Anybody like, when we were growing up and we heard about inventors, we'd hear, oh, no, that guy didn't really invent it. That was the fucking asshole who stole it. And then he took it. And now he's known for inventing it. That's been happening with music forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. And here's an interesting thing. And this is, I'm actually, I didn't have this question prepared, but what you're talking about, because you're talking about some theft, right? Creative theft of creativity, and
leeching, the leeches, the fucking they just fucking. They get these young kids. You notice how it's always young kids too. Like they're pushing this girl, the Billy Cyrus or
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Eyelash, yeah, eyelashes.
Right. And I go, isn't it weird why they're pushing this girl? And I think this poor girl, I hope to God that she didn't sign some 360 deal where they get literally the lion's share of everything, because that's an artist who's so talented and so big that she's probably literally keeping the lights of the entire company on. And these fucking overpaid executives have everything because of some 17-year-old who in 20 years is going to go, why did I fucking sign this deal? And they're going to go, well, without that deal, you wouldn't have been huge. It's like, nah, I would have been. These motherfuckers can blow up off SoundCloud and YouTube. Why is a fucking YouTube celebrity or an Instagram celebrity making more in endorsements than the most talented fucking rock and metal artist? It's because they have equity and they have a fucking full ownership of their brand.
Mm-hmm. I think too many other artists look to people like that and want to tear them down rather than help each other up and even aspire to something like that. Well,
yeah, and people are. I saw some people online talking shit about Taylor Swift because she was going to do re-records, and I was thinking like, this is awesome. This could be great if she does re-records, and she puts those up, and those start getting streams like her other songs are, and if the versions are just as good or better. Mm-hmm. She now owns the master, and other people will follow suit. Other artists will go, oh yeah, let's read through our deals. Let's see, are the re-record clauses up? And if your lawyer goes, no, don't do that. Oh, well, do you work for the label or do you work for me?
That's why you get those old, like if you listen to old soul songs, like there's always like 10 different versions.
Oh, yeah.
You can never find the one that you actually like because there's so many versions of it. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it sucks because the original songwriter didn't get shit. Some asshole bought the publishing, some suit probably bought the publishing for fucking 10 grand and now is making 30 grand every quarter off of radio play and whatnot. But even that I heard is coming to an end because I heard the one bipartisan law that they passed was the one that protects the radio industry and makes it so they don't have to pay the legacy artist royalties. That was the one thing the fucking scumbag Republicans and Democrats, these fucking criminals, that was the one thing they could agree on because the radio lobby paid them a shitload of money to pass the law so they don't have to pay the legacy artists.
Just terrible. Terrible.
So now that everybody's tuned out, we can talk about the fun shit. And we can and you know what really makes life go around? Loud amps in the face.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Do you have anything that you want to plug besides my butt? I mean, what do you got?
Yeah. Listen, if I had a, well, here, we won't get into that. More. Martyrstore.net if anybody wants to buy the CD. New Jasta CD just came out last December. I guess it's still new, right?
Good
not
stuff.
Really.
Good stuff.
8. And I'm working on this death metal record, which I'm hopefully going to be able to announce very soon. But it's a famous death metal singer, probably one of the most famous death metal singers of all time, who's doing a record.
There you go. It's George Fisher.
Yeah.
Fuck. And then also I got hopefully this new D. Snyder record I'm producing. We did one a couple years back, and the label exercised the option, and it got really good reviews, and even the old school Twisted Sister fans really liked it. I was really surprised, like even the haters, like people would go on my page and go, I really wanted to fucking hate this, and it's sick. So it was nice to see like the positivity around D. Snyder singing over like a real sort of rockin' metal record. So we're going to do another one of those. And then, the new Hatebreed. I'm hoping we could get it out like Black Friday, maybe around Christmas. We'll see. It'd be nice to get it out sooner than later. And then hopefully Hatebreed GWAR Tour 2021.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Where we just go out and shred faces.
I was glad to see that Jasta, you employed a lot of fat people. I was impressed with that.
Always.
Yes.
You know why?
A lot of heavy duty man meat on that stage.
Yeah. Yes. And one thing about this whole quarantine that's been great is like when you know that you don't have to do a show, you have that extra slice of pizza. You have that extra pint of ice cream at 10 at night and you've already had 2 dinners. But
Oh yeah.
it gives you something to work off when that fucking floodgates opens and we're the 35th hold behind, you know, Bruce Springsteen at the National because he can't play arenas, and he's like, you know what, I gotta book 30 dates because I can't do the arena or the stadium. So once all the major artists let us go back to the venues we always play and we always gave business to, we'll fucking do it, and we'll do it right. And you know what else? We'll fucking turn the amps to 10. No dummy cabs. If one thing I can say, since the beginning of Hatebreed, never one. Not even one dummy cab. They're all on.
All right. Well, thank you, Jamey Jasta. Do you have anything, Pustulus?
Yeah, I've got one request that if I know you do Hatebreed in your own solo thing. So if you ever do your last solo tour, and you know it's your final tour, you got to call it the Jasta La Vista tour.
Yes. Well, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up because I do have a thrash record done. It's in the can, but because of the Hatebreed contract and because of the quarantine and everything, I can't put it out until I think the end of next year. But it's a thrash record. It's ripping thrash, start to finish. A lot of it's standard tuning, not the tuned down heavy low shit. It's like a real sort of like throwback record, and the record is called "And Jasta for All."
There you go. So there's no bass on it,
and it's hard. No, actually, I was gonna. Well, we won't. I'll tell you off air. Well, yeah. There's gonna be some guest bass players on it, and it's gonna be hard.
Well, yeah, when this thing comes out and when this death metal thing, when you can talk about that a little more, you should come back and talk to us some more about that. And
yeah, we'd love it.
About it.
Yeah, and you guys got to come on my podcast too. You always have an open invite.
Love to.
Awesome.
And we do have to talk about the Sleazy P solo lounge record at some point. Someone's gonna have to do it. I do think you guys need to all do different solo records on the same day, like Kiss did.
That's what I've been saying. Yes.
You have to, and you have to then like put them together like Voltron, like, and make it so that when you get the album, like when you put all the art together, it makes like one piece.
We can take 5 good records and combine them to make one bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then whoever's going to be like the Gene record where you get all the guests and you do all this marketing, but it sells the least.
That'll be me.
And then the Ace, who's going to be like, I thought Aces was the best.
That's probably Bone Snapper.
Because I'm back in the New York
back in the New York groove.
Snowblind is fucking hard, right? Wait,
man.
Let me see if I can remember that riff. How did it go? Right? I'm snowblind. Dude, that Ace.
You're hired.
I don't remember Peter's record. I'll have to go look that up. But so if you did every member on the same release date, every solo album, limited edition, it'd be fucking great. And we could even do a Brocky hologram, and we can do a fucking an odorous like posthumously. How do you say it? Posthumously. Like we'll take like what they do with Tupac. We'll take old tracks and repurpose them, and he will live on from the grave.
Oh yeah. I'm sure people would not give us shit about that at all.
Yeah. All right.
An odorous hologram, I think I'm onto something there. That could be something else.
Oh yeah. I just want my Peter Criss moment in the sun. That's what I want.
Well, you can still come out and do Beth.
Yeah.
And then wait, yeah, who would have the Beth? Was that the hit? Well, no, Beth was on. What record was that on?
I don't know. I know that his solo album, he basically tried to make an R&B record. Which I would love to do. Wouldn't that be great? Like this is, yeah, hell yeah.
You could, yeah. You'll have the piano. You'll have the keyboards. You have the Moog. We'll get some Moog in there.
Yeah. Here's a music industry thing to really excite our listeners that goobers like us, like Vinnie Poncia did that record. He was the producer there.
Really?
Yes, Vinnie Poncia. That's right.
Well, you could also get Vinnie Vincent, and you could do a guest spot. Well, he wrote some hard shit for Kiss. He wrote that shit on fucking, what was that? What record was that? Animalized? No, fuck. One of their hardest songs he wrote.
Ugh.
Dude, you better get a GWAR Vinnie Vincent collab going right, at least a split 7-inch.
I'd rather work with Vivian Vincent.
Yes.
His shadow.
Get a Britney Fox GWAR split. Girl school, GWAR school. That'll be the project. GWAR,
that'd be great.
at the GWAR school, and it's just I'll direct the video. It's a school where everyone goes to just fucking learn how to murder and fucking. We can't do anything with school and murder. I think that's done. We we can't.
Murder
we'll
school?
think of we'll
fun.
think of something.
Samantha Fox, teacher
What is
at
GWAR
murder
gonna do?
school.
I mean, we can't do anything anymore. We might as well just not do GWAR if all these rules are in place here.
Nah, we're not gonna follow any rules. We're gonna help others end their careers and go down with the ship with us.
Well, whatever you do, it's gonna be epic because I say they all gotta get it one way or another. Whoever gets the crown has gotta get the guillotine. You know what I mean?
Guillotine.
Or the guillotine, if you wanna.
It would have been a more ignorant hardcore record if you said guillotine. I mean, that's what Stout would have done.
Yeah.
We almost did 2 versions.
Yeah, just do the guillotine version.
The American mix and the French mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
all right, Jamey. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah,
I'd love
thank
to
you
have
guys.
you back, and we'll see you next time on Undead from Antarctica.